So today we are going to talk about following man or God and how you can know the difference, I guess.
Sure, and it's pretty clear. God makes it clear.
We're going to start in Deuteronomy 13 when he talks about if false prophets or dreamer of dreams arise among you. So if a prophet or a dreamer of dream rises among you and gives you a sign or a wonder, and the sign or the wonder comes true concerning which he spoke to you, saying, let us go after other gods, whom you have not known, let us serve them, you shall not listen to the words of that prophet or that dreamer of dreams, because the Lord your God is testing you to find out if you love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul. You shall follow the Lord your God and fear him. You shall keep his commandments, listen to his voice, serve him, and cling to him. And that prophet or dreamer of dreams shall be put to death, because he counseled rebellion against the Lord your God, who brought you from the land of Egypt and redeemed you from the house of slavery.
Amen.
So, for us, we feel like that is more important to follow God's law.
Yeah, if it doesn't line up with the Father or the Son, to me, it's the same thing.
It says to obey his commandments and listen to his voice.
And Yehuah said it too. It said, my sheep hear my voice and they follow me.
Yeah.
And so what we've noticed is that Paul does not fit that category.
Yeah.
As an apostle, as anything. And I know we've kind of touched on this a little bit before, like what you had to do to be an apostle. You had to watch Jesus' baptism, walk with him for the 3.5 years, then watch his ascension, go up into heaven.
Yeah.
And then there was two people, I think it was Barnabas and Matthias, they cast lots and he got chosen. But Paul, by no means, fits those categories.
Yeah, and we're going to go through his conversions and not only how it doesn't follow God's commandments, but it doesn't fit. Even his own 3 conversion stories have fault in each other.
And
they don't
one
even.
Thing I would say too is anything that goes against the Father and the Son or following the law or the Word, it's false.
Yeah.
Period.
And we feel like Paul kind of threw himself under the bus when he even says in 1 Corinthians, but what I do, I will also continue to do, that I may cut off the opportunity from those who desire an opportunity to be regarded just as we are in the things which they boast. For such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into apostles of Christ. No wonder, for Satan himself transforms himself into an angel of light. Therefore, it's no great thing if his ministers also transform themselves into ministers of righteousness, whose end will be according to their works.
I think he's giving you a warning of himself.
Yeah.
Because he comes preaching a different gospel, and there's other times he mentions, like, my gospel.
Yes. And
my judgment. My spirit.
Yeah.
Or, my judgment. Like, almost like he's trying to be God.
And there might be a separate, maybe, I don't know. If you're not for God, you're against him. So, anyway, we're going to go through the conversions, and we're going to point out the differences that we see from his own words. He gave these 3 stories himself, so it's not like 3 different men giving different versions. It's himself messing up his own story. So in Acts 9, it starts out, now Saul, still breathing threats and murder against the disciples of the Lord, went to the high priest and asked for letters from him to the synagogues at Damascus, so that if he found any belonging to the way, both men and women, not Christians, those of the way, he might bring them bound to Jerusalem. As he was traveling, it happened that as he was approaching Damascus, suddenly a light from heaven flashed around him, and he fell to the ground and heard a voice saying to him, Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? He said, who are you, Lord? He said, I am Jesus, whom you are persecuting. But get up and enter the city, and it will be told to you what you must do. The men who traveled with him stood speechless, hearing the voice, but seeing no one. So they heard the voice, but they didn't see anyone.
Yep.
Saul got up from the ground, and though his eyes were open, he could see nothing. That's strange because it sounded like I thought he was blinded, but his eyes were open. He could see nothing. Okay, and leading him by the hand, they brought him into Damascus. Mm-hmm. He was 3 days without sight and neither ate nor drank. Should I keep going or stop at that spot?
No, that's good enough.
Okay, so then we're going to go. So what did they said that they heard a voice.
But didn't see anything. His eyes were open,
they
but
heard
he
the
didn't
voice,
see
but they saw
either.
no one. Okay, so then we're going to go to Acts 22 and start in verse 6. But it happened that as I was on my way approaching Damascus about noontime, a very bright light suddenly flashed from heaven all around me. Remember, he said, Satan can transform into an angel of light.
He saw nothing too.
I fell to the ground. I heard a voice saying to me, Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? I answered, Who are you, Lord? He said to me, I am Jesus the Nazarene. So now it changes too.
Yeah, he just added that.
Whom you are persecuting. And those who were with me, now they saw the light, to be sure, but did not understand the voice of the one who was speaking to me. So those who were with me saw the light, but didn't hear the voice this time.
So the first time they heard it and didn't see anything. Now they're seeing it and hearing nothing or not understanding it.
And I said, What shall I do, Lord? The Lord said to me, get up and go into Damascus, and there you'll be told of all that has been appointed for you to do. But since I could not see because of the brightness of that light. Okay, so now he was blinded by the light. I was led by the hand by those who were with me and came into Damascus. So hold on. But the other men saw the light in this one, and he was blinded by the light. Why weren't those other men blinded by the light?
I don't know.
That's strange. Okay, so now we're going to go to Acts 26:12. While so engaged as I was journeying to Damascus with the authority and commission of the chief priests, at midday, O king, I saw on the way a light from heaven, brighter than the sun, shining all around me and those who were journeying with me. And when we had all fallen to the ground, did the other men fall to the ground last time?
Didn't say.
I heard a voice saying to me in the Hebrew dialect. Okay, now it's in Hebrew.
Yep.
Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? It is hard for you to kick against the goads.
So that's new too. That's new too. Kick against the goads. That's added.
And I said, who are you, Lord? The Lord said to me, I am Jesus whom you are persecuting. But get up and stand on your feet. For this purpose I have appeared to you. Okay, this is all new.
This is all new.
To appoint you a minister and a witness, not only to the things which you have seen, but also to the things in which I will appear to you, rescuing you from the Jewish people, because they're so horrible, and from the Gentiles to whom I am sending you, to open their eyes so that they may turn from darkness to light, from the dominion of Satan to God, that they may receive forgiveness of sins and an inheritance among those who have been sanctified by faith in me.
That's a lot added.
So King Agrippa, I did not prove disobedient to the heavenly vision, but kept declaring both to those of Damascus first and also at Jerusalem, and then throughout all the region of Judea and even to the Gentiles.
I think you got the idea.
So,
you got the picture here.
What I find strange is I watch a lot of crime shows. I've seen a lot of shows, and they always say, if you remember more details later than you did in the beginning, it's usually a lie.
Probably.
Because you will remember the details sooner, and as time goes on, you forget the small details.
Exactly.
And, I mean, well, first of all, the first two stories
they
were...
changed, but even so, it said he went into the city and said something like scales fell from his eyes.
Oh, yeah.
While he's waiting for Ananias, I think.
Yeah.
But or even so, like, how creepy is that?
Yeah.
Like, scales. That reminds me of something satanic.
Yeah.
But not only that, too, I'm pretty sure he's from the tribe of Benjamin.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know where he says
they're
that
ravenous in Genesis when Isaac or Israel was giving Jacob? I don't even know. Who's the father of the 12?
Oh,
he was
Israel.
giving blessings on all the 12, and when he came to Benjamin, he said
You're a ravenous
wolves.
Is like kind of what the tribe is known for. But also too, like, so I know Yehuah warns us of wolves coming in sheep's clothing. Mm-hmm. Paul kind of even talks about it a little bit, saying there's going to be people coming after us. You know what I mean? He's almost giving you a warning about people who preach against the Father and the Son.
He's constantly saying how he's a Pharisee of the Pharisees.
So how do you tell if something is false? The same way the Father says. If it lines up with the Father, or lines up with the Son, or the living Word, then it's probably a pretty safe bet. But if it goes against the Father or the Son, you're probably false.
And like where it talks about making, like they make the commandments of men, making of doctrines the commandments of men. And like to beware of the Pharisees.
Yep.
And Paul says, I'm the Pharisee of the Pharisees.
The leaven of the Pharisees,
So,
yes.
I mean, I think the simple fact is this goes against what God said in the beginning. Even Yehuah himself, he said when he came, if I bear witness of myself, my witness isn't true.
Yeah.
And so for Paul,
two or three witnesses
said he had people with him, or Saul, whatever. He had people with him, but we don't know who those people were. They never came out as witnesses and supposedly they didn't see it in one.
But he even said, if you do see this,
I know.
It could be
Satan masquerading as an angel of light.
It works fine either way.
And even Yehuah, when he ascended, he said, you will not see me again until I come with the kingdom.
Yeah.
So like he's never appeared to anybody like that. Like, I don't know. I don't think this is a legit way to prove that you're from God.
Well, the simple fact is, I think he lived in the same time period. He could have actually went and seen Yehuah with his own eyes if he wanted to.
And
instead of killing a bunch of Jewish Christians instead. I mean, he's definitely prideful. So either he's lying about his story, but even if he isn't lying about his story, he's very confused on what happened.
And from here on out, all the rest of his writings, they go against what the Father and the Son taught.
Turns everything spiritual,
and so
is what I noticed.
Yes, we choose to follow God's voice, like he said in Deuteronomy 13. Mm-hmm. You listen to my voice and obey my commandments.
Said, my sheep hear my voice. Mm-hmm.
Instead of man's.
Yes.
So
if it lines up with the Father and his written word or the living word, Yahusha, I'm fine with it.
yeah,
But if it goes against either one of those or both of them, I have a problem with it.
yeah,
And Paul does it nonstop. With his writings, with his own words, he condemns himself.
yeah.
So I guess
And
that's the point.
then-
Like, if you're, quoting from Paul more than you're quoting from the Father or the Son, I think you messed up.
Yeah.
Or if you're making your doctrine based off of Paul and his beliefs, I think you messed up.